Tell Me Lies season 3 not only makes me want to rip my hair out, it makes me question the actions of every single person in this dang show. Okay? Between Diana being pregnant, Wrigley being in love with Bree, and Oliver being the grown version of Stephen DeMarco, this is honestly insane. What is up, legendaries? It is Ameenha Lee, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to be doing a little recap of season 3, episode 4. If I don't touch everything, don't mind me because it has been a lot going on. And I'll be giving you guys 2 theories of mine that I think will be happening in season 3. Now, we only have 8 episodes, and we're on episode 4, and honestly, I don't even think they could fit all this drama in just 8 episodes, but let's see. So let's jump right into the recap. So first we start with Diana and Molly. So Diana is rushing to class because we know our girl is focused on her studies, and she's talking to Molly, and Molly wants to cancel her class to go to a booty call with Evan, and Diana's like, girl, why aren't you focused on your studies? And then she's like, whatever, I'll cover for you, but also I have to tell you that I have an appointment to get rid of this baby because Steven is the baby daddy. And yeah, so Molly thinks, me and Evan and I, we're not official. This is what I think she thought. We're not official, but at the same time, I think that I can get him to upgrade me to girlfriend status instead of just being a booty call, and to be Bri 2.0 if I tell him that Diana is pregnant. So fast forward, we are in a time and space after their booty call. Molly tells Evan, and Evan's like, oh, this is crazy. Meanwhile, Evan is focused on his studies, and he's like, I gotta go to class after Molly's like insistent, like, you want to get some coffee? I can do this, right? And then Evan's like, no. But then once he finds out the news about Diana, everything goes up. So then fast forward to Bree and Oliver. So Bree, before she runs into the grown version of Stephen DeMarco, she finds out from her professor, like, we love your work. We want you to be a finalist in this program and your work to be featured, but you have to pick out 6 stills from your portfolio. And Bree is so happy. This is the happiest she's ever been, and honestly, rightfully deserved. Then she runs into Oliver. The demon, right? So Oliver pushes her in his office, and Oliver is like, pretty much kind of turns into like a narcissist that he is. I really hope that people realize that, because of course Bree's in the picture of her and the girl that she suspects Oliver is sleeping with. So Oliver's like, well, how do you know that? So Oliver ends up telling Bree, hey, you're insecure because of your childhood. And Bree, rightfully so, starts to get emotional, which is like, oh my god, I hate this man so bad. So then Steven finds out that he's Diana's baby daddy, right? So Evan ends up telling Steven, which my honest opinion, I think he tells Steven this to kind of get like a one-up on him, even though his dad just paid for Steven's sister's tuition, and his sister is still not rocking with Steven, rightfully so, after that scary voicemail. So I think he kind of does this because I feel like it's a competition between him and Steven, kind of, where it's like, well, I know this and you don't. I just paid, and not like a financial, how can I say, like a financial advantage, but I don't know. They just have like a weird friendship dynamic. Anyways, so Evan tells Steven, and Wrigley's like, hold up. This is none of our business. Diana can do what she wants. This is her body. This is her choice. And Steven gets mad like, I'm not the baby daddy. Like, I think I have a choice, whatever. So Steven gets mad, storms off. Pippa finds out because Pippa's sleeping with Diana. She's mad like, oh my god, she's pregnant. She finds out from the table because Wrigley's like, I don't think Pippa should know this. And then Evan or Steven end up being like, well, Diana's pregnant. And that whole situation, bleh. So Steven is rushing to talk to Diana, and Diana's like, ugh. Every time like Diana like sees like his face, it's like the funniest thing, but I still side-eyed her after she deleted all those pictures out of Steven's laptop of the girl that was unfortunately, she died. So I'm like, yeah, girl, I still side-eye you a little bit. So then Steven gets upset, but he kind of realizes that this can be an advantage, like, Diana, you and your dad don't have a good relationship, and you know, this could be like a good chance for you guys to mend your relationship. Oh my God, Diana goes off. I was like, thank God. So she pretty much shows Steven, like, I'm not keeping your baby and I can't wait to get rid of it. Steven gets mad. He storms off. So he realized that there's a Facebook group because Lucy's ex-best friend, who ends up dating Steven in the future, which is like the dumbest thing. Anyways, so her demonic little brother ends up being a terror because he takes advantage of women, if you know what I mean, because I don't want, YouTube censors videos sometimes with various words, inappropriate words. So we know that Pippa was one of Lucy's ex-best friend, demonic little brother of a terror victims. So there's a Facebook group that's created, and it just, a lot just goes on. So fast forward, Alex and Lucy are hanging out. Alex is pretty much, Bree's foster brother. And not too much, they do the do. And he tells her, like, you should apologize to that guy that you were rude to. Lucy ends up apologizing to him. But then the guy's like, I'm kind of good. I don't really need the apologies. Like, I'm good. Okay. That was a lot. So then Diana and Pippa. So Pippa tells Wrigley after he's hanging out with Bree, like, I'm just going to go to the library and study, knowing dang well she's a liar. And she's going to go and do her due with Diana. So Wrigley's like, okay, cool. Tell me how she leaves, like, the dorm that she shares with Bree pretty much. And she forgets her textbook. And Wrigley's like, you just forgot your textbook. Go into the library. So they talk. And then Diana's like, I don't really want to talk about, the appointment. I am pregnant. And then Pippa's like checking up on her. And then, they do. Right? So then Lucy talks to Diana after Bree tells Lucy, like, hey, there's a Facebook group going on, like, about Lucy's ex-best friend terror of her little brother. And Lucy's like, oh my God, knowing dang well the audience knows that this never happened to Lucy. She pretty much takes up and lies and says that she's the one that got, taken advantage of, even though it was Pippa, because Pippa doesn't really want people to know that it's her. And this situation happened to her. So however she feels, she doesn't want to talk about it. That is her decision, right? So then Bree unfortunately does not know. I'm surprised she didn't find out, but they have kept this under wraps for a very long time. So then Lucy gets called to the dean's office, and pretty much there is a girl who's also a victim of Lucy's ex-best friend terror of a little brother. And she tells Lucy, like, hey, like, this also happened to me. And then Oliver's creep of a wife, who I think is okay with him sleeping with students, which is disgusting, is, like, saying, like, hey, if Lucy doesn't want to, speak out about it, that's her decision. And pretty much the other professor, I think she was kind of urging, like, Lucy to, like, speak up about it because the other student was there. And Lucy's like, no, I don't want to do it. And then Lucy ends up cursing out Oliver's wife, like, hey, like, you're okay with your husband sleeping with students. You have a lot going on in your life. And I was like, Lucy, you should have this behavior with Steven, but okay. So Lucy rushes to talk to Diana, and Diana still kind of has, like, a rude attitude. And I'm like, girl, not too much, because you deleted them images out of Steven's laptop. And Lucy tells Diana, like, hey, like, there's this Facebook group going on. I don't know what to do. Diana knows about the group already. And Lucy's like, well, what should I do? And she tells Lucy, like, hey, I just think that you should just keep quiet. Don't say anything. Lucy ends up telling Diana about this tape that Steven forced her to do. And then Diana's like, how did he force you to do something? Like, you have a choice. Which, thank you. Because if it was me, little recap break, if it was me, I would have called Bree and be like, you know what? Yeah, I slept with Evan, but can you just forgive me? I'm going to transfer to, like, UCLA or USC or something, and maybe you can forgive me, like, years down the line. Love you so much. You'll forever be my best friend. Like, girl, what do you mean you made Steven force you to do a tape? Anyways, so Diana's like, oh, God, whatever, Steven. So she's like, just stay quiet. Nothing's going to happen. Fast forward to the wedding scene. We find out that the person who kept calling Bree the day of her wedding, the one, where she's getting married to Evan, which she did, Tell me how that person was Wrigley. Now, not gonna lie, I thought the person who kept calling Bri was Oliver, because I thought that they were just in a relationship. You know, they were still doing the dudes throughout the years, because they get married in 2015. And I'm like, oh my god, that's so crazy. We're like 11 years ahead of the wedding. Anyways, let me stop. So Wrigley is the one that's in love with Bri, because Wrigley tells Pippa, like, you know what, I'm just gonna like mask the fact that I'm pretty much at an event where the person I love is getting married. So Steven is figuring this out in real time, because Wrigley leaves his phone on the table, and Steven goes to Wrigley's phone call log, and he's like, hold on, you just called Bri over like several times. And I'm looking like Steven too, like, hold on, putting the pieces together. So Bri is dancing with Evan, and Wrigley is dancing with Pippa, and Bri is like looking at Wrigley. So we're like, oh my god, here we go again. What is going to be in episode 5? So let's get into my theories about season 3. It's not that many, because I feel like this show was like full of like so many twists and turns. My first theory is that Bri is the one that releases the tape, because we realize that Pippa is trying to cover up the fact that she was taken advantage of by Lucy's ex-best friend Tara of her brother. So she doesn't know that Pippa is the one I was taking advantage of. So I feel that Bri, even though she's kind of like kept outside of like what really happened, she feels betrayed by Lucy. Like, you know, why would you lie about this? Everything that I went through my childhood, I would never keep this a secret. Maybe this is her mindset, and her and Wrigley are hanging out again, and maybe they have to go through something in Steven's dorm, and they miraculously find the tape with the SD card, whatever. And, you know, they find it. Wrigley's like, you know, maybe we should put this back. And Bri's like, no. So I think Bri is the one who leaks the tape. I hope this is revealed in episode 5, because this has been a lot, okay? My second theory is that everybody is setting Steven up. I'm not sure for what, because I'm like, why is he even at this wedding? Because we also see in this episode, Bri is talking to Steven, and she's like, I don't think that people should break up over one mistake. But I'm like, girl, were you and Wrigley like doing the do, or were you guys just friends? But obviously, if Wrigley's like, you know, the person that I love, did Wrigley and Bri have a situation like Evan and Lucy? I'm like, oh my god. So those are my 2 theories. Tell Me Lies makes me want to rip my hair out, but honestly, I'm tuned in every single episode. Let me know what you guys think. We'll love to know what you guys think about this episode and your theories for the entire season. What do you think is going to happen to Steven DeMarco? Who do you think released the tape? Let me know below in the comments. Love you guys. Have a blessed day, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.